Welcome to the Restoration Psychology Podcast. In this episode, Jason and Leah sit down with Dr. Pei as she shares about why representation matters and the heart, vision, and mission of restoration psychology. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
To the weary, the hurting, and the hopeful, welcome to the Restoration Psychology Podcast, where we invite you to rest, heal, and restore. We have a treat for you today. I am sitting down to interview Dr. Jessica Pei, the owner and founder of Restoration Psychology. And with us is Leah Shin, the office manager here. She has all of the inside scoop on Jessica, so that's why Leah is sitting here as a subject matter expert. So before we get to the questions to Jessica, because you are the subject matter expert on all things Jessica Pei.
I'm so scared.
Tell us, how did you meet Dr. Pei?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first interaction was at a Nuggets game, but we go to the same church, so I knew of her. She's on the praise team. She's in many leadership roles. But yeah, at a Nuggets game, my older brother was on the worship team with her, and he knew that I was like studying psychology, and so he was like, if you're interested in that career, why don't you talk to her? And then we went to the Nuggets game, and I didn't even talk to her because I was
was it just the two of you? Or
No,
it
was me, my brother, Jessica, and someone, like another friend.
I had this picture of like the two of you at the Nuggets game, but
No,
you're not talking at all.
I was like further sitting away from her.
No, at one point we were sitting next to each other because her brother made her do it, but she didn't say one word to me.
Okay, what were your first thoughts
Right.
about Jessica?
Just
Be nice.
I was
No, don't worry about don't worry about what she's saying.
I was intimidated.
Okay.
I think the Nuggets game was a good interaction because it felt like more carefree. It wasn't like as professional, but I feel like her energy is like really confident, and that like scared me off. So I didn't feel like I was like nervous to talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you known her? We can quantify this in years, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like 5-6 years that I like actually knew her name.
So
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. The Nuggets game was how long ago?
I'd say like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay, 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Have your thoughts about Jessica changed in those last 2 or 3 years?
Definitely.
How?
I would say that for first impressions, obviously, I think it makes sense how people can be intimidated and like nervous maybe to talk to her. It depends on who you are. But then I think as you get to know her, she would say this a lot. She's like, I'm just a girl. And I'm like, yeah,
If I had $1 for how many times I've heard that in the last year.
Yeah. So it's like I've grown more comfortable, and then she does a really good job at helping people be their most authentic selves because she doesn't judge at all. And that's pretty refreshing to have. So like I think she's helped me like break out of my shell and kind of be more true to myself without like being fake or lying. And then yeah, I just think that's a presence that's rare that I was able to experience through like getting to know her better.
Can I share a story with you then?
Yes.
About how I met her?
Yes.
I'm scared now
Please.
too.
This is the goal of this episode, is just to make you nervous.
What are they gonna say?
I hope we have close-ups of like your eyes. Like,
Oh no.
we were going through a difficult time as a church body and as a church leadership team, real rough season. And somebody knew of Dr. Pei and invited her to come and meet with our elder team and pastors. And so I think it was a Saturday. We all came to the church, and all of our elders, the pastors there and their wives came, and there was this lady sitting at the end of the table, and she starts off the meeting with this: I want everybody to close their eyes. And I want you to think about your deepest, darkest sin. What's like something that like you just hope that no one ever finds out about you, or you're really ashamed that if someone knew this about you, they would like potentially reject you? Do you have that in your mind? Okay, good. Now, I'm going to count to 3. And when I hit 3, I want you to open your eyes, and I'm going to be pointing at one of you. And whoever I'm pointing at, I want you to stand up and share what your secret is. And you could feel the tension in the room just ratchet up like 20 times. And then, of course, like we open our eyes and she's not pointing at anybody, but that was my introduction.
Was this lady?
To this lady. That somehow after that, I was like, I want to get to know her more.
So you weren't intimidated. That didn't create intimidation.
I think that, well, that exact moment, but I think probably the whole rest of that day was like, I want to get to know this lady more, because her exercise was obviously going somewhere. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this lady.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, that was an empathy exercise for us to all be able
That's
to.
That's probably a good thing. You should clarify.
Yeah, to channel our, to be a person who would be inviting of all people who come to them.
Yeah.
So it was an empathy exercise. It's not some.
We're trying to like freak everybody out.
But it did freak out. But the thing is, it worked, because that was over 10 years ago, and you still remember it.
Oh, it's super impactful.
See.
And I tell that story, rather often, because it was so impactful.
It's always fun.
It showed us what kind of leadership team we were.
Yeah, and it's really always fun to see people's like reactions around it, because it really points to some of the things that we might be struggling with. But hopefully helps people to be more empathic and kind to other people as they hear other people's stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I started this by saying you're the owner and founder of Restoration. Why did you start Restoration Psychology?
It's a good question, and it's probably a longer, complicated question for me to answer, but so let's see how I go about this. But I think at the heart of it, I really wanted to create a space that was safe, clinically excellent for all people. Mm-hmm. And part of that is that in our field of psychology, there aren't a lot of spaces that are uniquely tailored to people of color, right? And there's a lot of nuances to that, but I think in my clinical experience, I've had a lot of people of color who did not look like me. I'm like Korean background, but they were often people who had been refugees, came from Africa, came from Latin countries, and they would all like meet me, and we were in more medical facilities that were more white, and they would say, man, all my providers are so different, but you really understand me because we're the same. And I was like, well, but we're different too, right? But there was something that was really connecting about being a person of color, being in the face of somebody of color who had some power and privilege, being the provider, that made them feel some kind of way, right? And it almost led to a natural connecting point, because they're like, oh, I don't have to tell you everything. I don't have to explain everything about what it's like to be other, but you get it. And I felt like that was such a beautiful privilege and honor to be able to do that. And I realized, like, looking around, there weren't a lot of spaces that did that well. And so that was the dream behind it. It's like, how do I become a clinician or provide services that would be really helpful to people who have experienced that the other? And it's not just about ethnic minorities or cultural minorities, but it's like just other. Like, and all of us have different experiences of being the other, feeling like the other, desiring and longing to belong and not having that. So that was really the heart behind Restoration. I think, if I'm completely honest about it, there have been pain points in my professional journey that also led to this. I think that there's been a lot of hard, painful things that turned into something beautiful. And in my work experiences, I had worked at some places that really did desire to provide culturally sensitive services to people. And I think we were just missing the mark for various different reasons. If I were to kind of assess the situation, I think sometimes people in leadership or in power can have a hard time giving up their power for the sake of the other or the sake of the powerless. And I think watching that time and time again, and I really did work hard to try to be the change from the inside out, and kind of came across a lot of barriers. And I remember there was a pivotal moment when we hired a consultant to come into our practice. And, for a long time, as I was kind of trying to do actually what they hired me to do, because when they hired me, there was a level of like, Jessica, we want you to help us become more culturally sensitive to appeal to a broader audience, to receive counseling services. And yet we could not make the changes. And at the end of the day, it was because the people in power didn't want to do something different. Mm-hmm. And that's something I experienced kind of on the daily. But to have an outside voice come in and say like, okay, like, while you might contribute to part of the problem, you're not the problem. And the problem is that people don't really want to change here. And I think I had to come to a position and a place to let go of this desire to fix. And I had to move forward. And I loved that place and thought that is where I would kind of start and end my career. And it was actually really sad to let that dream kind of die for a more beautiful one. Right. And, it's probably my stubbornness, but I really wanted to hold on to that and make it better. But I think sometimes the better thing is when you say goodbye. Yeah. Right. So that's the short version of a really long story.
You talked a little bit about something in there that I want to spend a little bit more time into. Why do you think representation matters in the counseling room?
It's not just the counseling room.
I suppose we could talk. Why does representation matter? Maybe in general.
I think there's something really beautiful and powerful about seeing people like me out there. Right. I think it's especially important in media for young children to see people who are like them, because it gives us a sense of belonging. And kind of growing up in the States, especially as a child of immigrants, we've always felt like the other. We were different. We ate different food. And so we kind of clung to our own community. Mm-hmm. And to have somebody else on TV, working professionals that looked like us, that could helped us to kind of realize that we could do anything too. You don't just have to be white, or you don't just have to be tall or pretty to be able to do these things. You can be all of who you are and do a lot of amazing, excellent things. And there's just something really powerful about that. And, part of why I even started restoration is not just for clients, but even for the people that work here. I wanted it to be a safe place that we could do this together, and that there are people that are like us that are in it together, if that makes sense. And it was something that I didn't personally get a lot of, especially in the field of psychology, because I was just a little bit earlier on. I think in my time and tenure in psychology, the number of Asian Americans or Asians who have entered into the field has, I think the number is quadrupled than when we started. So I think there's some really beautiful and good things happening, and representation does matter. There's so many intangibles to that that I'm kind of having a hard time explaining, but see someone like us.
I've heard maybe all of the female Asian therapists who are here at Restoration, I think I've heard all of them at one point say they sought you out because you were an Asian female. Mm. They sought you out for supervision or to work at your practice. That is something they were looking for.
Yeah, I find that a little bit shocking and such a distinct honor, because there is something about having somebody go before you in this path that can feel really connecting and powerful in ways. So I feel so privileged to be the one to be able to do that. And while also having some sadness around I wish there were more people. And that is why representation matters, right? That it gives us the ability to know that our dreams and what we desire can come true.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh,
because I didn't tell you that I was going to ask you this question, mostly because I just thought of it right now, not because I was hiding it. What has it been like for you to have, as we're talking about representation, what's it been like for you to witness and experience and work alongside an Asian female who's in life out ahead of you. What's that representation been like for you just experientially here in this office, in this practice?
I mean, as you were talking, I was getting emotional because I think that in the big scheme of things, you don't, as like a minority or Asian American, you don't think about, I guess, like how hard it must have been for you to not have anyone do that and go like before you. But then, yeah, I'm glad you asked me, because not even just for like the therapists who are working here and seeking you out, but even for people who are in school, like I was inspired, like people, my friends around me are inspired to see you as a psychologist, like not even as a psychologist, but like as a business owner. And I think that you are doing a successful job at being the representation and just inspiring others just by being yourself. And so I don't know, I speak for like my fellow friends and stuff that it's like really cool to see now that like people, not even just in the psychology world, but in maybe like society in general, like Asians getting more representation. And I think it's like cool to be a part of it now, and that, you know, that was your goal, and like you're doing that.
Thanks.
At the practice Restoration, what types of people do you hope to serve through Restoration?
And everyone. It's
I
everybody.
figured that's probably what you would say.
Anybody who is hurting and seeking or like has desire to seek support is who we would like to serve. So Restoration is not just for minorities or people who feel other, but it's actually for everyone. In all honesty, the majority of our clients, and probably because of where we're located, are white or from like Eurocentric background. And I think the other piece to that is that I hope that as providers and people of color, we can provide really excellent services to kind of bridge the gap and work towards what I would say is like reconciliation and healing, and for all people. So I think it's like multifaceted. Part of the goal for Restoration was to have providers that could see anybody. So if you call in and you have a struggle, there's somebody for everybody. And I can say with 100% certainty, we can see anybody like 2 years old up to geriatric or end of life. And I can say with full confidence that the people on this team can do it well. Name a mental health struggle, anything from anxiety all the way to schizophrenia, anything in between, or life changes, grief, spiritual questions. There is somebody for any one of those things. And that was really the goal and heart behind Restoration, is that there could be one place that even a family of 7 could come. They could have different providers, and they could see providers individually, from kids all the way to the geriatric population, and see there's somebody here that could see couples. There's somebody here that could also see families. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for all of those mental health services.
As you were saying there, I was thinking the team here at Restoration is so talented.
Yes, they are.
And so gifted. What do you think is distinct about your leadership that allows you to bring so many people around you who are talented?
This question I'm not prepared for.
I totally just threw this question in on her.
Well, not that I was prepared for any of the other questions either, but I think I have a hard time talking to that, and it would probably be easier to get that answered by my team than for me. I think that my desire, just probably as a human being, in, probably personality structures, that I genuinely, truly believe and really want everybody's dreams to come true, right? And part of that, as a leader, I strive to allow people to flourish in the way that they were meant to. That nobody needs to be, I think sometimes people can feel pressure, like, and I hear it a lot, that I can be intimidating. And, I'm really, just because people are intimidated by me doesn't actually mean I'm intimidated, right? That they could be intimidated, but that doesn't actually make me intimidating. And that's something that I like worked through. But I think part of that is that there is a specific way I carry myself, and people might at first believe that I want them to be like that. And I don't. Like, what I want people to flourish in is like, I just want you to be the best version of you, right? Like the good and the bad can be used together and just to flourish in that way. And I hope to provide a space where we can do that. I also think there's a high value of mine is to provide like clear and direct communication. That's, you know, if I could give everybody in this world a superpower, I'd give them clear and direct communication, because I actually think that that really helps us to not have problems, right? If we could all like learn that skill. So I think if I were to name two of the things that might help me or help others feel like a sense of safety and belonging here, would be those.
Anything you want to add to that? I do have a thought if you want me to share. But
I have one thing.
Go for it.
Is that not only do you like value excellent work, but also like having fun.
Yeah.
And like that's what I hear from your supervision meetings. It's like not just about work or like clients, but also like maybe just about life too. And like having fun with people and always laughing.
Yeah. I think that's really important, especially in our field. It can feel really heavy at times. So bringing some levity to it, to like laugh and have joy in the midst of really hard stuff, because oftentimes we are sitting with people in the darkest parts of their life, and having some joy and levity in a workplace is really important.
Yeah. My experience of you is that you are so secure in who you are that your leadership doesn't need to be out in front, and you're comfortable having leaders alongside of you who are strong leaders, strong people in their own right, strong people in their own fields, and you're not intimidated by that. And I think a lot of leaders are intimidated by strong leaders, so they don't surround themselves with a good team, because then their leadership is that much more out in front. My experience is you're very secure in your own leadership. Therefore, surround yourself with a good team. I mean, I think that's distinct about you.
Thank you. But just for the audience to be clear, that did take a lot of work and refining to get to this place. And I think, you know, part of that is I'm only as good as I am because of the people who surround me. And I have some really amazing people who are here, like at work and even in my personal life, that help sharpen me. Yeah.
What counseling situations do you feel uniquely equipped to walk people through?
So, you know, this is a really hard question for me to answer, because usually when people ask me what my specialty is I'm like, people, human beings. Part of that is like personality. I get bored a little bit quickly. So if I saw the same thing all day long, I would not like that. So I have a wide variety of clients, from like 2 to, I think my youngest person right now might be 3. But anyway, 2 all the way to the adult population. So that's so hard. I guess if you say clinical specialties, it would be like health psychology, things that surround like a diversity, adoption related, or like especially intercultural adoptions, difficult marriages, or where there might be some like infidelity or a disconnection, and like family therapy. I think one thing that like that could be a theme is that a lot of the times people who come and see me might have fallen out of treatment with other providers, partly because the case can be a little bit complicated, or if I'm known, even in the therapeutic community, it's kind of funny because I try to rein it in, but they're like, we are looking for Dr. Pei because we heard you're really direct. And I'm like, really? I'm like really holding back a lot of the time. But so I think if you need like a more direct communicator or like approach to be like, hey, this is the problem and this is the goal and how we can work together to fix it or to work alongside, right? It tends to be the people that are kind of drawn towards me.
Yeah. In the counseling world, you tend to hear counselor or psychologist. Do you see a difference between a counselor and a psychologist?
Yeah, so there are some differences, and it's not better or worse, it's just different.
Okay.
I think the best explanation I can give is, technically a psychologist is a counselor, somebody who can provide some counsel, but the difference would be that it's like maybe between a physician's assistant and an MD.
Okay.
So physician's assistants or counselors can do a lot of variety of things. Maybe they need a little bit more supervision or a help in that way. Part of it has to do with just experience and education level. Psychologists tend to, you have to have your doctorate.
So to be labeled a psychologist,
Yes.
you have to have a PsyD.
Yeah. Oh, you have to have a PhD or a
PhD
PsyD.
or a
Yeah.
PsyD.
You need
Okay.
a doctorate in,
Okay.
generally speaking, clinical psychology or counseling psychology.
Okay.
And there's just a lot more years of training. So my doctoral program was 5 years. I did about 2 years of postdoctoral work. And in the middle of that, I did get my master's in counseling, which if I stopped there, I would have been a counselor. So it's not that it's better or worse. It's just probably more extensive training, which allows, like I said, people who might have more difficult cases or difficult struggles to want to seek a psychologist. And another nuance that is different in our practice is that psychologists can do psychological testing.
Okay.
So if you needed some diagnostic clarification, like maybe some people have been in therapy for a long time, but they might feel stuck. There's some, or kids who are struggling in school, there's like maybe question marks that we have that psych testing can provide more clarity and answers for.
Okay.
And that would be another unique thing about psychologists.
Okay. If you were to give a piece of advice to someone who's considering counseling or psychology as a profession, what's your advice to that person?
You have to do your inner work.
Okay.
Right. I think a lot of the times I hear people like, I want to be a counselor because I want to help people. And I think that is a really small way to think about counseling. Like there's just so much more to that, and we have to be able to do, we can only help people as much as we've kind of done our own inner work. So that's would be my encouragement, is that I have seen, and not to be overly critical, but it is true that so many counselors who will work out their stuff at the expense of their patient or their client, right? Like they're working it out in the counseling room when they're supposed to be the counselor. And or even in workplaces, you can have difficult work situations or relationships because somebody has not done their inner work to become healthier and more whole. So my encouragement to all people aspiring to be in the field is like, you got to do your inner work, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, I would probably, if I had a magic wand, make everybody do that. You know, I actually joke about this a lot with my patients, but if I could rule the world, obviously nobody is letting me do that. But if I could, I would have everybody kind of do a mental health check, just like you do a physical check. You go to the doctor once a year, you go to the dentist, like, and our bodies are important, our teeth are important, but I think our heart and our brain and mind and our soul are so much more important than that. I'm willing to argue with people about that, but like, why not like have somebody to check in with to make sure, because prevention is a much better model than intervention. Yeah. By the time people come and see me, especially when there's like brokenness in relationship and marriage, like it's almost like we're at the brink of it being almost too late, right? And like if we just did some of the preventive work and we even get our cars checked up, right? Like why not do some preventative work and like just see if we're okay before there's a bigger problem? Yeah. That is not a question you asked, but there's a little gold nugget for you.
Okay, here's a bonus question.
Yes.
And I feel like I have to set up a little bit of context for the bonus question for anybody who's listening. I came on here at Restoration almost a year ago, and I have been introduced to a decent amount of Korean culture and Korean food, and I have really enjoyed it. And because of that, my bonus question is, what is it that you like, or what do you really enjoy about introducing people to Korean food or Korean culture? And I'm going to make you answer this question too.
I mean, this is a really nuanced question and an answer too, but I think going back to what you asked earlier is that representation matters. And I feel extra tearful today, but I think when I was growing up, sometimes my parents would like pack me lunch and it'd be like rice and seaweed, right? And I or like some kind of Korean dish, and all I wanted was like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I felt so embarrassed. like, you know, like as a first grader to eat that. And like I remember like I would hide behind the lid of my Tupperware to eat it quietly, because there would be comments of kids who were like, that smells weird, or that's weird. Okay. And
Those punk kids.
well, but I think it's just normal and natural because it was different, and we are not sure what to do with things that are different. Okay. I think there's something so beautiful about what's happening for especially like Koreans because of like K-pop and K-drama. It's like there is so much more representation out there, and Korean food is actually kind of popular and trendy, which kind of heals the little girl in me, because one, representation matters, and there's two, something about having people enjoy the things that are part of our culture that makes us feel like maybe wanted and belong. And so to see people enjoy that is just like so fun, because you know when the little kids are in the past, and I think about like, you know, first and second graders, they don't know any better. They're just a girl or a little boy trying to figure out life. And when something is foreign and different, it can be scary, right? So part of sharing our culture, or we do a lot of community eating here, kind of heals. And I would say all of us could say that, like anybody here who has experienced others, like it heals a part of our soul when people can enjoy the things that are so deeply embedded in our culture. And I know, like, we make Jason eat all sorts of things, or Leah always makes him eat lunch with us together.
And I have to share my food.
And you have to share your food. We're really giving lots of cultural experiences. And I think there's just something really bonding about that allows us to connect. And, you know, especially, like I said earlier, our job, it can be so heavy. Like, so to have like a respite in the middle of the day where we can like be all of ourselves, including food and culture, is why I just like love it. Yeah.
All right. What about you? What do you enjoy about introducing people to Korean food or Korean culture?
I think what you're saying resonates as well. Like being able to share our culture, and like now that it's not as weird, like it's fun to like share that with other people. But also I do strongly believe that sharing food and like eating each other's food, like family style, is like the best way to eat. And so I think maybe like being able to just try each single thing, even if it's a bite, I don't know, just feels like important and like loving, even if it's like in a small way like that, but super enjoyable.
And food is just a huge part of Korean culture. Like we don't just eat at like one restaurant. We're like let's go to, like we say, Icha.
Tell a story about when we were in Dallas.
You want to?
Or I can tell a story.
Yeah, go.
Because you were probably so shocked. You're like, what is happening?
Well, I think the biggest one for me was we were eating somewhere, and then there was very lively discussion about where we were going to eat at tomorrow for all 3 meals.
Yes.
And
like,
dessert.
We're gonna and dessert. And so we're gonna go to Somi and get this, and you gotta try this, and you gotta try this. And
did you
tomorrow
like it?
that restaurant right over there, we're gonna go there. So anyway, oh, my phone's ringing. How unprofessional. It's my country music ringtone. So that was like different for me, because usually for me it would just be, all right, it's time to eat now. Where will I go now? But when I was in Dallas with a bunch of Korean people, it was, where are we going to eat at all 3 meals tomorrow? We got to know. Where are we going?
Yeah.
It revolved around food.
Always.
every time we travel.
But you're better for it now, aren't you?
Much so. Much so. I put on weight, I think. But I do. I love the vibrancy of sharing life together over food, and that has been probably the big takeaway for me. Is it's not just food; it's like there's a liveliness.
It's about connection.
Yeah,
yes.
It's about connection. So, okay, one last thing. What are the little chicken drums that you guys had here the one time? The little like
from Costco.
Yeah, from Costco. Because what I want to do is tell someone from Costco, if you're listening and you have anything to do with distribution at Costco, please bring back the little like chicken drumstick, the Korean chicken
spicy
drumstick crackers.
Yes.
Because those are like catnip for humans. So if you work at Costco and you're in the distribution center, or you have anything to do with what can be sold at Costco, please for the love of everything good, bring back the Korean fried chicken crackers.
We'll flash a picture of it
Yeah,
on this video.
we'll put a picture at the end of this so you know what we're talking about. Any last words from you?
No, I think, I'm just grateful for you. And this podcast is Jason's passion project. So we're glad we can kind of do this together. And
I appreciate that.
It's like fun to share stories. And
this podcast is my passion project because I believe in this team. And I ambushed by emotion there. I want other people to believe in this team. And this lady right here is one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And I want people to like get glimpses of who you are and what you're like and what you care about, because I think it represents what the Lord is like and what the best of humanity is like. So thank you for all you've meant to my life.
I'm trying not to crack a joke. But
I appreciate that because I'm crying now. So thanks. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us today. Check us out for more episodes to come.
Thanks for listening to the Restoration Psychology Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're seeking counseling or have any other questions, please contact us at restorationpsychology.com.